Everybody's dancing at the Vegas Square gambling show. Welcome, everybody. I'm back. So are the boys. You guys were great last weekend, by the way. And you weren't just great, you were profitably great. That was a very impressive week. I'm glad I got in on the comments, but that didn't really make any. That didn't mean anything for me. Y'all were. I hope y'all bet some of those bets, by the way. Did y'all do that? Any of y'all?
Of course.
I didn't get anything. What just happened?
Did.
I crapped out here. Am I back?
Yeah, you've been here, sir.
I missed the entire first part of the show. Fantastic.
Well, I was just wondering if you made any money off your bets that you put on the show.
I did. I made $16 whole.
Well,
So we had our first winning week, boys. That's pretty awesome. I mean, all collectively, we all won.
I bet my bets. I know I might be alone in this, but yeah, I bet what I say. My opinion might change. Like things might change between now and Sunday. That might change my opinion a little bit, but everything I talk about, I have intentions of putting real money on.
Well, Deets, why don't you tell me about your week? You gained 13. You kind of got screwed during the show. You could have gained a lot more.
Yeah, of course. It's fine. I liked Sammy's logic with Philly. I ended up betting a lot on the first half there, which true to my name was one of the worst beats I've ever taken. Sammy told me how bad it was because I work during Sundays and we work in a poker room. The games are on in the background, so we can kind of see it and follow it, but we don't see it in detail like you guys get to watch. And yeah, it was even worse than I imagined. But 20 seconds left, Philly minus 5.5 for the first half. Going to kick a field goal. I mean, just miss a field goal and we're good. Block kick, house it, unbelievable. So yeah, we lost that. And Philly just no-showed the rest of the game against I don't know what's going on. Greg Sirianni, we'll talk about that later. He's got his kids yelling at fans, bringing his kids up. What a complete disaster and shit show in Philly. I think they're on my hate list this week. So yeah, I had them in a week where favorites were covering like crazy and public bettors made out like bandits, and finally got a week back from the books. I found a way to mess it all up as usual by just doing a little too much. But yeah, good week. I put for the show purposes, I put 55 instead of my normal 11 or 22. So, but I liked it. Sammy brought a lot of good logic to it, and I trusted the Philly to be better than they were. So whatever.
But you liked it, but that wasn't the bet I liked. I liked the Eagles in the Wong teaser, right? In the teaser wheel. I didn't care for them minus 10 points.
I think you talked yourself into that Eagles.
Yeah.
No, I liked it because it got to double digits, and there's only been one double. It didn't close as double digits, but there's only been one double-digit favorite in the NFL this year, and it covered. So the sore spot for the NFL this year has been that 6, 7, 8-point underdogs have just been losing outright, which has been killing all the teasers and killing a lot of people with the money line parlay and teaser one teaser legs. But when it gets to double, I liked it because it touched 10, and it steamed all the way up to 10, then it came back a little bit. And at that point, I wasn't scared off by the 8.5 or 9. I was more than willing to back a favorite that big. And yeah, I mean, Sammy just reaffirmed and kind of let like all his reasoning for liking the Eagles and just being a little bit more selective and I guess better money management with it, with putting in the teaser wheels, were all points that I liked. So listening to him talk about it, yes, allowed me to talk myself into taking. Yeah.
Allow me to paraphrase this, Sammy. Thanks for nothing is what he's saying.
Yeah,
I mean, I won.
Deets, you're an entertainer, dude. That's why this show works for you. Because even though you got the least amount in the piggy bank, you're doing well. You're entertaining people, and that's what really counts here.
Good.
That's right.
Deets is the star of the show.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd like to. Yeah, should have had a better week. You'll have a better week this week.
Aaron, you gained 16. You're up to 20 and 21. I think you've had like couple or a few positive weeks here in a row. How you feeling?
Well, I was feeling good on Saturday. I went 3-1 in college, 0-3 in the NFL, a teaser hit and a parlay hit, so I can't be too mad at those. But yeah, the NFL slate last week, Joe Public, I tend to try to go against Joe Public based on the numbers and the research I have. And Joe Public got his, which is probably why Dietz had such a great week. I mean, let's be honest here at this point. But
hey, to be fair, I was 5-1 in college. 5-1 in college. All right. So a little baby. I love your baby, Aaron. Yeah. So I 5-1 in college in my pros. I think I actually lost money in the pros, but yeah. So let's put a little perspective on it.
I put a perspective. Yeah, I have had two winning weeks out of the last three. Last week 3 and 5, but yeah, I mean, all you can do is climb at this point. We all kind of started ourselves into a little bit of a hole, and I mean, the name of the game is to be above 1,000, and brick by brick, we're slowly trying to get back there. 20 and 21, I'm not mad considering. I feel like, at least me, looking at my records, we started off the year in a pretty tough spot. So it hurts to have to be in week 7 and climbing back to the black, but instead of just being in it. But life doesn't work the way you want it to sometimes.
Sammy Action, you gained 16 as well. You were also blessed with a My Bookie bonus, so you are welcome on that, sir, during the show. But
thank you.
You had a good week, though. That teaser wheel, thank the Lord Jesus it hit.
Yeah, I mean, my theme is bad money management, right? I mean, this was my best bet of the season so far, and yeah, I only banked a $16 profit, and that's my own fault, right? Finding ways to monetize my best bets better is definitely something I need to work on. But with that being said, it is a positive week. I'm over 500 for the season, and I'm right at the break-even point money-wise. So I'm pleased with my efforts for last week and hope to build on that this week.
Well, let me ask you a question, Sammy. I don't know if you went back and took a look. You left some of those NFL games off of the teaser wheel. Did you go back and look to see if any of those would have been good or bad for you?
I didn't actually. I think the Giants would have swept, if I'm not mistaken. I think that would have fell within the realm of the teaser on both sides. But when the line doesn't make any sense, right? When you're teasing through the zero, you're getting you're going from -5 to +1. It's just such a bad investment of your money that I found it easier to just ignore those sort of bad numbers in the teaser wheel, even though the idea is you want to get as much action as possible. I think if I would have done it with the totals, though, I would have had an even better week.
Food for thought.
Go ahead.
That's music to Aaron's ears. He loves teasing totals.
Yeah.
I did it one time.
And you won.
No, I lost by a point.
Oh, my bad.
You guys are watching Vegas Square Gambling Show. Reminder to catch when my internet is working. I have the last solo effort tomorrow. It's Vegas Square Morning Show, weekdays 7 a.m. Pacific. And Aaron, you are
going to be back next Monday.
That's awesome. Good to hear.
My kids are happy. They listen to the show in the morning. They like it.
I can promise you far less WNBA takes. That I can, if I had to run on a platform for this election season, there will be far less WNBA takes than the Vegas Square Morning Show. Yeah.
All right, we're presented by mybookie.ag, promo code 12OZ Sports. All caps, no spaces for up to $1,000 first deposit bonus. Okay, let's get into college football week number 8. And we're going to start off with these are all Eastern, by the way, I believe. So we got number 6, Miami at Louisville. Miami's favored by 5, and the total's at 59.5. I'm going to go backstage. You guys duke it out.
All right, well, I'll take the lead on this one first. Miami is coming off of a bye, obviously, but they have some clear issues. Cam Ward plays absolutely incredible. They're scoring points, but they're also giving them up at an alarming rate as well here. I look to Louisville in the initial spots in this one. Ultimately, no bet for me, but I think Cam Ward is going to have a little tough time. Louisville's defense plays better than their record states, and I believe that Isaac Brown will run the football. They're going to try to play a possession game with Louisville here. keep the ball out of Miami's hands. Miami, similar to Oregon, the less opportunities you give them to run down the field on you, the greater chance you have of winning this game. If this game was in Miami, I might be singing a different tune. However, I think Louisville covers the 5 here in this spot, and I think Miami's live to get upset this weekend.
Go ahead, Sammy.
Okay, well, Aaron, you and I are on opposite ends here because I looked at this game and I saw Louisville's coverage stats. I think they're ranked 93rd in the nation in coverage. And I'm a big believer in situations and betting team strength versus team weakness. And Miami's strength is throwing the ball over the top. Louisville's weakness is covering the ball over the top. I feel like this is a spot where Miami can get their receivers loose, and top to bottom roster wise, I think Miami's probably a touchdown favorite in this game anyway. When you couple that with them coming off a bye and how bad Louisville's secondary's played, I feel like this is a no-brainer spot for Miami. So I opened up the piggy bank on this one, 22 to win 20, Miami minus the 4 here. Or 5 if that's the one now.
Well, if you got it at 4, that's fine. You'll recap the piggy bank at the end, but I mean, you get it where you can get it. I mean, lines are moving. I know I keep saying this every week, but lines are moving like as fast as people can blink at this point in sports betting.
Yeah.
That is true.
I think this should be an exciting game. Braum, when he was at Purdue, he kind of gained the reputation of being a giant slayer. He knocked off 3 top 3 teams, and then just last year at Louisville, he beat then number 10 ranked Notre Dame. So I don't think this is going to be a pushover for Miami. I think a lot of it has to do, you talk about that passing defense. I mean, Louisville's their star cornerback and potential first-round pick, Quincy Riley, he's just been in and out of the lineup, a little bit hurt. I'm not quite sure what his status is for this game. But if he can play, that Louisville pass defense definitely improves when he's available. So I think that would play a big part into it. I couldn't get there with the number with Miami. Cam Ward, as good as he is, one thing he's also good at doing is throwing interceptions and creating turnovers. So I didn't want to lay this number with Miami. I could see them being on upset alert here with a coach very familiar with this position and very with a good track record of pulling off these upsets. So on paper, Miami should win. I mean, they got the number 1 ranked defense in regard to creating havoc, so that's good for them. But and Cam Ward has been amazing, one of the Heisman front runners. But I couldn't really get there to this number either way. I think Louisville's a live dog in this spot for sure.
Do you have any thoughts here on this one? It's a revenge factor. We talk about this a lot, but the quarterback for Louisville played under Mario Cristobal at Oregon, and obviously things didn't go well for him there. This guy's been in freaking college. He was Justin Herbert's back. Let's put it this way. He's been around for a while.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if there's a revenge factor. Like, obviously this guy's not going pro. Tyler, I don't know if you say Show or Sal, but I mean, to beat Cristobal, it'd be a nice little uptick for him. I mean, Louisville started the season ranked, so if
who's got the edge there? The quarterback who knows, or the coach who knows that quarterback, or the quarterback who might have a revenge factor? I'd almost argue in this. Our first bet of the year with Texas A&M and Notre Dame, this big right in the ass with Riley Leonard, thinking that whatever the coach's name for A&M,
Elko.
Thinking that he'd be better off with them being together at Duke, that hurt me. But I think in general, I would expect the coach to be more prepared and know the strengths and weaknesses of his player rather than the vice versa with the quarterback having a revenge factor,
Well,
I agree. This is years ago, right? This is many, many years ago at this point.
I think he transferred in 2021, yeah. But
this is a different player.
Interesting stat. I didn't know that. I had no idea.
I would give you that advantage if we're talking about Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, but we're talking about Mario Cristobal. This guy's a dumpster fire. So
hey, he hired a game management consultant. He's become aware of his weaknesses and he's attacking them.
Well, let's hope
they still get 10 penalties a game. I mean, Cristobal's a terrible coach. As much as I like Miami this week, that was the one part I was like, do I really want to put money on this guy? I mean, this guy is a terrible coach.
We'll see what happens.
Cornhuskers of Nebraska at number 16. Indiana Who's your daddies? Indiana favored by 6.5 last time I checked. Totals at 51. Boys, it's up to y'all to discuss this.
All right, I know Sammy's big on this game, so I'll keep mine quick here. Congratulations to Indiana, 3-9 last year, and they become the first team to get bowl eligible this year. So congrats, hats off to them. Coach Signetti obviously has to earn his flowers in this spot for what he's done in a turnaround at Indiana. Indiana looks like a legitimate Big Ten powerhouse right now, scoring 47 points a game. I mean, they're running through most opponents. I know Northwestern gave them a little bit of a fight, but in this one, we have Baby Mahomes back. I don't really know where to go with this one. Sammy, I know you're taking a side on this one. I don't know which way to go. This game, naturally, I'm going to lean towards Indiana being at home just because they have the higher powered offense. But, I mean, Nebraska has shown me time and time again this year that they can hang in football games. And that's all they really need to do with a spread like this, covering right around a touchdown.
Yeah, so my I don't have a side in this game. I like the total, actually. For me, Nebraska has three offensive linemen out. They don't run the ball particularly well anyway, and with 3 offensive linemen out, I think it's going to be even bigger struggle for them. They haven't scored over 28 points against anybody except for UTEP, so their offense isn't exactly lighting it up anyway. Indiana's defense has played above average. With that said, Indiana lights it up, and Nebraska is by far the best defense they're going to face this year. So with that being said, Nebraska plays at a slow pace. They can't run the ball to begin with. Indiana's playing the toughest defense they're going to play all season, and I'm going to take the under. I'm going to rely on these the sports books who put this total at a place where they're kind of begging you to bet over. With Indiana being such a powerhouse offense, and Rourke being a kind of a legitimate Heisman person here. I mean, there's a scenario that takes place where Indiana wins this game. They can go undefeated all the way until they play Ohio State, and then they have a shot at the Big Ten championship. This is a legitimate team. But with that said, I like under in this game. I'm going to take under the 51. I think I got it at 50.5, so I take the worst line. Because sometimes I get the better line when I put it in early. Under 50.5 for me, 22 to win 20. I'm going to root for a slow-paced game with bad offensive line play on both sides and see what happens.
Yeah, you're looking at this situation here. Indiana giving up 11 points. Nebraska giving up 11 points a game. Indiana giving up 15.8. So, how'd the total get to 50?
As someone who's gotten burned on Nebraska overs twice this year, I can't fault you for taking the under in this game. But man, I love this game. Like I'm just excited. Like Kirk Signetti, he's just been one of my favorite players or people in all of college this year. Like he likes to run it up. He likes to give you nice quotes after his teams. But that being said, we're a Illinois interception, miracle interception in overtime away from this being an undefeated real Big Ten bat, like a undefeated battle of Big Ten teams. So this should be interesting. So far, Indiana wins this year over FIU, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwesterns. This is their first real test. Let's see what they can do here. Let's see what Signetti can do. Let's see, Nebraska, in my opinion, is underwhelmed a little bit. I know they're starting the true freshman, Baby Mahomes, but I kind of expect a little bit more out of them with Matt Rule. Both teams are coming off a bye, and Matt Rule is an underdog in this spot, has always kind of, shined. So if this line gets to 7, I will find my way on a Nebraska ticket. At 6.5, I'm going to leave it alone and try to enjoy, a surprisingly really good matchup between two teams that I wouldn't have expected coming into the year, Nebraska and Indiana. I think this will be really fun. And, with playoff implications down the line here. So, but if it does tick up to 7 by Saturday morning, I'll probably find myself on a Nebraska ticket. But at 6.5, I'm just going to leave it alone.
That's it? That's all we do on Nebraska? That's fair.
That was a lot.
I know. It wasn't much, but
that's some sound analysis by Mr. Dietz right there.
That's right. Dietz is the man. Did y'all see the YouTube short that I made where it says Thomas the Mush Geach?
Oh, I haven't seen
the way I talk. It was pretty. The captions keep shafting me, so just the Mush Geach in case you guys.
I'll look up. Speaking of Mush, Marshall, what the fuck? Tonight, another one. I got under 51. I thought it was over. I thought I was dead at halftime. I'm following the game on my phone while I'm watching the barn burner Broncos Saint game. The game's over. They stop Georgia Southern at 4th and 10 at the 12-yard line with a minute and a half left. Game's over. Ends in at 48, 49, whatever it was. 88 yards to the house. I looked down. I lost the bet. I'm like, how did I lose? That one was in the refrigerator. What the? Oh. Like these beats, I'm getting so mad. Like I don't even understand it. So whatever short you had with me mushing stuff, it's every freaking week.
I love it.
That Eagles beat was a terrible beat. I'm not gonna lie. That was one of your worst ones ever.
I know, and I gotta sit there and walk around at work with a smile on my face.
It's the same thing every week.
Yeah, I know. Our regulars know now.
This is the only college football game that you guys are two of you guys are on. Eastern Carolina, the Pirates are against Army. Number 23, the Black Knights. No offense. Army's favored by 16. The total is at 50. What do they call it? Black Knights, okay? The total's at 51. Hey, not your Father's Service Academy here. Go ahead, boys. Hash it out. Give me a chance for the Pirates to win here.
Tom, this one's all you. I know you have more analysis than I do on this one.
No, I just I'm loving this Army. We got a legit shot at either one of the service teams getting in the playoffs this year with Army and Navy. And on the back end of their offense, they have just been incredible. Both the Navy quarterback and Bryson Daly for Army, just incredible. That being said, I found myself on an under in this game. I found these stats from the Group of Five over at Action Network. They do a great job, and they're playing Eastern Carolina. Eastern Carolina has a fantastic defense. I'm going to rattle off some of their stats there. They have yet to allow 14 points in any game this season. They only allowed 300 yards once. That was last week. I think it was 303 yards that they allowed. Only allowing 9.8 yards per game, which is second in the nation, only to number one ranked Texas, which is pretty incredible. Their defense is ranked 5th in the country at rushing success rate, which is what Army thrives at, obviously. And they're only allowing 3.4 yards per game rushing. So that being said, that lines up perfect against an Army team, which, obviously they're stepping out a little bit from the triple option. The service academy offenses have been incredible this year. So I realize I might be stepping in it here, but also East Carolina can't score the ball. I faded them a couple times this year with Jake Garcia, the interception king. He finally got benched for a guy named Caden Hauser. Well, that guy came in, went 11 for 28 and threw for 84 yards, and he couldn't beat Garcia out to begin with. So they have an offense that can't do anything, and they have a really, really stout defense that should fare well against an Army team who is obviously known traditionally for running the ball up and down the field. So I took an under 51.5 in this one for $11 in the piggy bank.
So where did you find that stat that they haven't given up 14 points a game?
The Group of Five Action Network, on the Action Network.
Their last game, they literally gave up 55 points their last game. So
I must be looking at something. No, don't I look stupid? I'll have to go back and look at that. Then I literally just call you out. No, if I said something wrong, you should call me out. I thought that seemed a little bit weird, so I should have went back and fact checked it. But I probably misheard something then. If it was maybe 14 points or maybe 14 points on the ground, maybe if it was. Could be there.
This team does have an incredible rush defense, despite giving up 55 points last week. Their numbers are actually going to be skewed. They actually came in to that Charlotte game top 15 in rushing defense. The numbers are skewed now because Charlotte gashed them for 306 yards. This is a team that's better than Charlotte and Army. I'm playing a strength versus strength here. I'm taking a Sammy action playbook play here, and I'm taking strength versus strength. I'm going to play this game. I'm taking the dog. I know that ECU is going to have a hard time scoring, but his under comped with my thought here that they're going to keep this close. It's up to 16 now. I got it at 15.5, so I guess I got a quote unquote bad number, but I mean, potato tomato at that point. But I am also going to open up the piggy bank here for $11 and take the dog in this one, Eastern Carolina, to keep it close. I think that we're going to have problems scoring from both sides of the field here, Army and ECU. I look for this game to be in the 21-14 kind of realm. So I'll take the Eastern Carolina spot here plus 15.5.
Well, I'm rooting for both of you
I need to
guys.
do better check. I need to not rush through these notes as I write them down, because even just looking at this now, that sounds a little absurd. 14 points, not giving up 14 points a game. So yeah, that's a bad job by me. I got to do better.
Well, all right.
I'm rooting for both of you guys.
That stat
Even
threw me off.
like I should have me being true to my normal self, wait to the last second and rush through everything, and I don't really think about it. And
Sammy, go ahead.
No, as a fan of the game, I watch Army Navy every year. You know, my son watches it with me, so I'm rooting for a good game with these teams being ranked and having hopefully undefeated seasons. So I'm rooting for Army in the game, but I hope you cover Aaron. I'll be rooting for your under Eats.
Oh, absolutely, a crash course of Army Navy undefeated potentially would be just a phenomenal end of the season here.
Absolutely.
So, anybody wants to fade? Army 45-7 seems like a reasonable score here.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because I was like, maybe I can find an Army team total over 14 somewhere and just lay the extreme juice, because Tom tells me they don't give up 14 points.
Yeah. We might just have to bet. I mean, I'll be betting this under, but now I want to bet. No, I just want to fade us and bet like a parlay, Army in the over.
Army and over. We should. This will be the one that we win, though.
Well, if you're watching and you're trying to decide if you want to fade or follow, this could be this is your decision point right here. If you are gonna fade, this is your little single game parlay here. Here's your chance.
Yeah, 66% of the show is on a under and a side, and the third member is cheerleading it on. So yeah, natural fade spot here if you're watching the show.
50%. Give me a break. All right. 3:30 p.m. Number 7, Alabama at number 11, Tennessee Volunteers. Bama laying 3. Total is at 57. Give me a chance Tennessee wins, boys. Oh, I'm ready to go.
I think Tennessee has a great chance of winning this game. I mean, you're on a buy low spot with Tennessee. I know Sammy may disagree in this spot, but I mean, you take Alabama's season with the exception of the first half of the Georgia game. I mean, what do you have here? You have a if you look at their complete body of work, you have a completely average team, maybe even slightly below average. I know I've given Jalen Milroe his flowers, and I still think he's probably one of the top 2 or 3 Heisman Trophy finalists at this point. But I've looked at – someone told me to look at their entire body of work minus the Georgia game, and he's not wrong. They're a remarkably average team with not Nick Saban on the sidelines going into a hostile environment that they lost a shootout last time they played in this one. Josh Heupel is going to – find a way to have the crowd hype. Nico Imaliva, however you say that name. This is if he wants to get in the Heisman race, or if he wants to get in the first round pick race coming up, in the next few years when he's draft eligible. This is a good game to start that mystique, so to speak. Ultimately, I'm not on this game, but I think Tennessee's definitely live to pull out another upset like they did last time at Neyland Stadium.
I mean, they're always going to be alive, right? Playing at home in a big spot. But you talk about Nico being a Heisman possible candidate. He has thrown, and I can't make this up, Deet stat of the week, 2 touchdowns since week 2. I mean, the guy has not performed at a Heisman level. He hasn't performed at even college football level. His best games have come against very mediocre to bad defenses. And, once you put him in the SEC and have him face off against some real defenses, he has really, really struggled. Couple that with Tennessee's best defensive side is stopping the run. Alabama doesn't really run the ball. Tennessee's biggest weakness on defense is getting beat deep. Alabama throws the ball deep. Their secondary is absolutely terrible for Tennessee. Also, Tennessee's leading linebacker tore his ACL. He's out for the season. All these things point to me that Alabama should be able to throw the ball. They should be able to get over the top. They have their playmakers, and unless Nico turns it around, I just don't see him lighting up the Alabama defense when he can't light up anybody. So to me, this is an easy bet on Alabama. And I hate Alabama. If you know me for a long time, you know I root against Alabama pretty much universally. But my money's going on Alabama this week. -3, 22 to win 20. This seems like a cupcake spot for Alabama to go back on the national stage and say, we're still a contender.
How dare you?
Who's in a buy lower spot here, Tom? I mean, Alabama, last 2 weeks, L to Vanderbilt and an almost L to South Carolina. Whereas you have Tennessee, who in the last 2 weeks they lost to was Arkansas, and then they barely beat Florida. Like, who are you buying lower at this point? I mean, both these teams haven't looked good. I mean, do you give the advantage to Bama coming off a bye here at this point? Is that it?
I would lean towards the home team.
Not coming off a bye. Excuse me. Bama's not coming off a bye.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would lean towards the home team here. I'm not invested in this game, but if who do I think is in more of a buy low spot? I would think Tennessee. Like Sammy alluded to, like once they got into SEC play, Nico's play has just completely tailed off. Early in the year, I thought that Tennessee and Texas were might be two best teams in the country the way they were playing. But you got to. I know Tennessee just lost their defense, and their secondary is not the same, not great, but they still have a fantastic defense. They got the potential #1 draft pick with James Pierce, and they've still been shutting teams down. And they have talent like Nico. He was a Heisman hopeful. He's a talented quarterback, and so I kind of would lean with Tennessee here, but I can't bet any money with it here. In Alabama, they've looked horrible the last 2 weeks. The upset to Vanderbilt, and then they struggled. And they struggled with South Florida early in the year, which South Florida is a horrible team. So Alabama, like you said, Aaron, outside of the first half against Georgia, what have they done? That 17-year-old receiver is amazing. If Milroy can get the ball over the top to him, which I'm sure he will, it'll be interesting. But I'd actually lean more towards an under here, if anything, because I think both of these teams are under. It's really hard to say. It sucks to say Alabama has underperformed and underwhelmed after that game of the year against Georgia, and that's in everybody's mind. But I would think just based on that game alone, the value would lay with the home team here because everybody's going to remember that. They're not going to remember Vanderbilt. They're not going to remember last week in South Carolina. They're going to remember the game of the year. So I think if from a pure number standpoint, I would assume you'd get the value with a team that's underperformed themselves in Tennessee in the 3 points at home, but I'm not stepping in between it. Milroy is light years better than Nico since the first couple of weeks. And like Sammy said, the Alabama's strengths on offense line up with Tennessee's weaknesses on defense. So that's where they could take advantage if they are going to cover this number.
I mean, I generally don't find these marquee matchups either. So you have to look at a spot where, I mean, should this line be higher if you're Alabama at this point? I know they're walking into a hostile dome, but I mean, if we're saying that Alabama's offense is so much more prolific than Tennessee's and their defense is not very good in Tennessee with the injuries and just lack of production, I mean, should this line supposedly be pressing 4 or 5 at this point?
I think it should have been. I was shocked to see it so low. And then when I dove deeper into the numbers, it confirmed that Alabama is far superior to me in terms of overall talent in this spot. I like your under too. I think under is a wonderful addition to this as well. 57 is quite high. Although Georgia, Alabama highlighted the fact that Bama can score when they need to. If Tennessee gets out to a lead here, I can see this game flying over. But I don't think Tennessee blows them out. I do think Alabama could beat them by 2 scores though with margin.
Well, Tennessee can play ball control too. They got Dylan Sampson's a good running back, and I think they're going to feed him the ball quite a bit to kind of take a little bit of the pressure off of Nico and everything that he's been going on. But yeah, I don't know. Both these teams are just kind of Jekyll and Hyde for me. I thought at different times of the year, I thought they were both the #1 team in the country, and now I don't know what to expect from either of them. So this is just kind of a let's see. I want to see which underwhelming team from the last 2 weeks can come out and play like their A game, basically.
Now that you make that statement specifically, I don't trust Josh Heupel, so I don't know where to go with this one.
I will say, outside of Appalachian State beating Michigan in the Big House, the Vanderbilt upset was probably the best upset I've ever watched in my life. It was absolutely entertaining situation.
Diego is awesome. That guy's amazing. That interview afterwards, he's been
great.
Yeah, Aaron, the Alabama, do you think this spread of -3, or any of you guys can answer this, is it so low because of last year? Because let's be honest, Josh Heupel, that Cinderella story ran out very quickly at Tennessee because that was with Hendon Hooker, I believe. That was with all these receivers. Are we just banking on last year at this point? Could that also be a contributing factor?
No, I mean, I think we're banking on a fact that, like, theoretically on a neutral surface, these are evenly matched teams. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's not wrong. On an even surface, Alabama's a touchdown favorite. I got this backwards.
Right.
I don't necessarily buy it. Like I said, you look like I forget which one you said it. I'm sorry, but if you look at Alabama's body of work, the only thing people are going to focus on is UG Alabama, and I think versus like you said, USF. I think versus obviously Vanderbilt and South Carolina. I mean, they've looked just like a very pedestrian team, and even in the UG Alabama game, like I hate to keep bringing this up because we need to turn the page, but
yes, we do.
Nick Saban doesn't let Georgia come back on him like that. He doesn't. So
South Carolina and Vanderbilt are a lot better than they have been the previous few years, though, for being honest.
Yeah,
South
Carolina's been pesky, but Vanderbilt is a solid team this year.
I don't disagree with that at all. But are they better or is Alabama worse?
No, Vanderbilt has been a better football team. So is South Carolina this year.
And Alabama's been a little worse.
I think teams like Alabama tend to take smaller schools for granted a little bit. And I think they play up to bigger schools. So, I mean, they're going to play up to this game. They're not taking this game lightly in any way.
Look, I have no dog in the fight here. I think we're going to get another entertaining game. It may not be 52-49 like it was 2 years ago. But we'll have
I want Tennessee to win. I'm cheering for Tennessee. I want Tennessee to be involved in the playoffs this year. I'm more interested in seeing them. Or like Nico and that defense and everybody.
This is the last thing I'll say because I know we got to move on. Is the loser of this game out of the playoff race in the SEC?
If Alabama loses, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
They're gonna be 4 teams in the playoffs from the SEC, and you're gonna have some 2-loss teams, I think.
you're gonna have at least one. So I'm wondering if the loser of this one, the season's not over, so a sense of urgency may not be there for one team. I don't know which team that is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for one thing, 2 losses isn't going to kill you like it used to. So
right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but being upset by Vanderbilt is a lot worse. One
but
loss,
3 losses probably does.
But guys, Vanderbilt's a lot worse of a loss than just 2 losses. That's not just 2 losses. That
yeah, but Alabama's a lot bigger of a team than, let's say, a 2-loss Indiana, maybe.
Jeez. Yeah, but being Georgia is a much bigger win.
Fun conversations in 2 months. I'm looking forward to dissecting these.
All right, 3:30 p.m. Number 24 Michigan at number 22 Illinois fighting Illini. Michigan minus 3.5. Totals at 44.5. Those cheating bastards keep getting exposed, but can they beat Illinois?
No. Yes, they can. I think they can. Don't know if they will, but I think they can definitely beat them. I mean, like you said, they're coming off a bye in this spot. The rematch situation was there. They still can't pass the ball. I mean, it's absolutely insane how you have a defending national champion. I understand the quarterback moved on, but how do you have all this recruiting in the barn and can't find a guy who can literally flick the rock? For me, Jack Tuttle is coming along. I want to see what happens with him. I think the Jack Tuttle experiment might be why I believe they can beat Illinois. If he can play well, he is a blast of fresh air for Michigan. And it's a completely revamped and different team than we've seen the first, 6 games of the season. They are a non-one-dimensional, non-rely on defense. They can actually hurl the ball. I think Michigan gets a win here. And unfortunately, this is another team, a 2-loss Illinois team. I don't think they get in the playoff, so especially in the Big Ten. I think Michigan pulls an upset here. Or I guess it's not really an upset since they're the favorite. But I think a lot of money is going in on Illinois. And what it sounds like, including with your big resounding no, it sounds like you might be on that too.
No, I didn't invest in the game. I can't trust Brett Bielema. He just finds ways to lose these games. Like, these must-win, make or break for your season type of games. He finds ways to lose, and so I'm not going to bet it, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if this is the last week. Michigan's in the top 25, and they go off to the sunset, trying to figure it out. Their defense is amazing. Of course, Illinois coming off that crazy game with Purdue last week. Who knows how they're going to react after that game? So I'm not betting this game. I think Illinois will win, but I'm not going to put any money on it. And I think this is the last week we see Michigan in the top 25.
I agree more with Aaron. I think Michigan does win this game, and I don't like. I actually they should go back to the first quarterback. If I'm being honest, like I thought he played the best of the three of these guys, but Michigan plays better defense. Michigan can run the ball better. Michigan's coming off a bye, and I follow this guy. I can't remember which network he's on, but he talks about turnover-worthy plays. The Illinois quarterback has 9 turnover-worthy plays and only 1 interception, which makes him the luckiest quarterback in college football this year. So with that said, I think Michigan can turn some of those turnover-worthy plays into actual turnovers, maybe get ahead in this game and then run this clock down. I don't like Illinois in this spot at all.
That's a pretty good stat. That's a good find.
Yeah, I remember the guy's name, but he has a really interesting stat.
I mean, Luke Altmaier has come a long way. So to give him his credit, the Illinois quarterback, Luke Altmaier. But yeah, you say, whichever team loses, this is the last. I don't know if the last week we see them, but they're going to fall out of the top 25 at this point.
Hence why the people applauded for Michigan falling out of the top 25. Shame on you, Aaron.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. Number 5, Georgia. Number 1, Texas. 7:30 p.m. Texas favored by 5. Total is at 57.
How about these new alignments, like these new conference alignments? Every week I feel like we got a game of the week like this, right? I just wanted to put that out. I know, like we just went from the Red River rivalry to now a battle of 2 top 5 teams conference game with Texas and Georgia. Like for as annoying as these conference realignments are, it's like almost every week we have a game like this, and it's pretty incredible. I just wanted to point that out. Like I was on the fence and not for these new power conference things, but if we get these type of games, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, like I feel like every week college football has a monster slate. It's been a fun year so far.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you on that spot. Like you said, I think conference realignment has been good. I mean, unfortunately, if you're a Pac-12 fan, but I mean, you just said, like with the SEC and to an extent the Big Ten, we'll see how this more materializes if USC ever gets back as well. But this is what they wanted. They wanted us to be glued to our TVs each and every week. Like, no disrespect to Vanderbilt. I understand what happened, but until we realized Vanderbilt was on upset or Alabama was on upset alert, nobody was really watching that game. You tune in afterward. Like the weeks where we have, nobody versus nobody or big school versus Western Carolina. Like, let's hope those years are a thing of the past. Like Georgia and Texas, this is absolutely incredible because this is potentially a national championship rematch. And I know that you could say that probably about 4 or 5 SEC teams and 3 or 4 Big Ten opponents because unfortunately that's where we're at here. We're at a 2-horse race for the most part. This game specifically, I think is going to be absolutely incredible. Georgia is just getting the short end of the stick, having to go both to Bama and to Texas. Talked to a lot of people around, here in Vegas, and not a lot of people like Texas in this one, which is kind of shocking for me to believe. But like this Georgia team, Carson Beck has not shown up really in any spots. If you want to count the Clemson game, I guess you can have that because Clemson is now looking better. But in these spots, since Carson Beck has arrived on stage, he has shrunk in the big moment. Do I want to lay a weird number in 5 when this thing could go back and forth like Georgia and Alabama? No, probably not. But I would lean toward Texas in this spot at home. Quinn Ewers is the better quarterback. I mean, Kirby Smart right now, based on track record, is the better coach. But I'm going to lean on the better quarterback. I would think a better defense in Texas and hope that they can run the ball as well and keep the ball away from the Bulldogs.
I agree with you on defense. I think Texas does have the better defense. Georgia's defense has definitely fallen off from previous years. But have you looked and seen who Texas has played in terms of quarterback against? Like, there's just nobody. They play backup after backup. They play benched guy or injured guy. Like, this is by far the best quarterback they're going to play. And so I have no action on this game. I will be watching. But, Texas's defense ranks top 5 in the nation, mostly because they haven't played anybody. So we'll see. We'll see how they do against a real team. But interesting, fun thing here: if Georgia loses this game, they're legit one bad game away from probably being out of the playoffs, which is incredible when you think about it.
I mean, it is, and this is the thing where UGA losing this game might actually be a benefit. I know that sounds crazy to think, but if a 2-loss UGA team runs the table, skips the SEC championship, I think they still get in the playoffs.
For sure, they are. 2 losses, yes. 3 losses, no.
No, but I mean, let me look at UGA's schedule here real quick. I mean, they do have upcoming games. They have Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, Mass, and G Tech. I mean, Mississippi and Tennessee.
Yeah, be fun. And Ole Miss too. Yeah. God, this is such a tough schedule.
They are hard. Yeah, they are. But I'm saying, like, if they can run through the rest of that gauntlet with Florida, Massachusetts, and Georgia Tech, we're going to call those wins. If they can beat Mississippi and Tennessee, like, they're probably going to be out of the SEC championship, because if everybody runs the table, it's probably Alabama versus Texas at that point. And Georgia sneaks right in, even losing this matchup. So this might be a blessing if they don't win this game.
It'll be a fun end of the year. Yeah, Sammy, you're right, man. Texas, their defense, number one in the nation. They've faced they played Michigan and Oklahoma, two teams who have completely abandoned the pass. Their strength of schedule in that aspect has been really weak. But on the flip side, they've also played a lot of really, really tough defenses, and their offenses thrive too with Quinn Ewers and Manning in there too. So I think this is like a real test to see like which is right with this Texas team. You know, like is their defense really up to snuff, even though playing these bottom feeder offenses, you know, now that they get their first true test? And is their offense really legit? You know, their offense should really come. They face tests already, so they should be able to get through in this spot. So one thing that kept me off this game is that Texas has struggled in recent years after the Red River rivalry game. It's a little different this year. Like, you could even say there was a little bit of a look-ahead spot for them last week, you know, even though it's their biggest rivalry. But, yeah, in 2021, they lost outright to Oklahoma State, and then they were huge favorites the last 2 years against Iowa State and Houston, and then just barely found ways to win. So usually, like, you know, they're, you know, playing those tough Oklahoma games, that was their game of the year. So I don't know if that'll carry over into this year. But there's a lot of dynamics to this game that I'm interested in. I kind of wanted to bet Texas just because Georgia has looked so off this year since Clemson. But, you know, we look like Sammy said, looking into it, like Texas hasn't played anybody really that could throw the ball and move the ball like Georgia. So I think we'll find out if that defense is fraudulent or real this week. So
I mean, what's the more likely scenario in this spot? A high-scoring 30, 40 point each, or a low-scoring affair? I mean, what's the more likely spot? We said this versus Georgia and Alabama, and it turned out to be just a track meet. But, I mean, these two defenses, I think the more likely scenario would be a barn burner, small score in this spot.
I would agree.
So I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I would, if I were to take a side, I would take over the 57.
I hope it is. I mean, I like yours and Beck. That should
for somebody not on this, I do hope we get fireworks again like we got in the Georgia-Alabama game, for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah, I didn't bet it either.
I mean, I think Quinn Ewers is a far better quarterback here, and so I agree with you on that one. But Texas defense, I know what Sammy said, but, man, I still think they're good, Sammy. I'm sorry.
How do we know? And we'll find out now.
They've been good the last couple of years. I think they're going to show up. They had Saban dead to rights if Quinn Ewers didn't get taken out last year. So, I mean, just saying, this team's good.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Jalen Carter's gone, right? All their major studs are gone. This is not the same team.
Fair enough.
Yep.
You're watching Vegas Square Gambling Show, and we come back. We're going to do NFL Week number 7. Don't go anywhere. We have a commercial break to pay some bills.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water. Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Deets, I didn't think you were going to make it back, but here you are. I was just looking at you behind the scenes of the commercial break, and you're here, though. Congrats. Welcome back.
Made it.
The Mush. We are here on the Vegas Square Gambling Show on 12 on Sports via YouTube. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. Remember, go to 12 on Sports. Oh, good Lord. Go to mybookie.ag. Enter the promo code 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces, for up to a $1,000 first deposit bonus. And also subscribe while you're here on YouTube. It helps us make money one day. All right. NFL week number 7. Let's get into it. 3 of these games you guys are all on. So let's get into those games first. The first one is a big NFC North matchup at 1 o'clock Eastern. The Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings favored by 1.5. Total is 50.5. This is Sam Darnold. Revenge tour continue. What we got, boys?
You know, this is a tough spot because Minnesota coming off a bye, everything seems to be slanted in their direction at this point. I know I keep saying, when is the Sam Darnold Express going to finally pull into a station here and not pull back out? But kid's just incredible. He's absolutely incredible right now. Their team is firing all cylinders. They are the team we didn't expect. I mean, we talked about this in the preseason show of the NFC North. This is the team we expected to be at the cellar, and they're literally at the top amongst all these other ones. Detroit, I mean, what do you say? Like, they crushed the Cowboys on the road last week, losing Aiden Hutchinson. How much is that going to matter to them? I don't know. A premier edge rusher is huge. Not having one is even bigger. My lean right here is toward, Vikings winning this game, keeping it close. Dan Campbell, if there's a guy who's going to keep these guys motivated and look past the Aiden Hutchinson injury, it's Dan Campbell. I mean, the dude, since he's been biting kneecaps in Detroit, he's just been a fun watch. His shtick hasn't exhausted yet. It may soon. We'll see. But I did open the piggy bank for this one, not on a side. I did take the total under 50.5. I know these are two higher flying offenses. So naturally with that, plus the trend of totals in the 50 range, I'm going to take the under in this spot. I look for this to be a 23-17 kind of match here.
Yeah, I don't disagree with your spot. I mean, these are two top 7 defenses facing off, and neither offense is in the top 10. So if you're looking at just pure statistics, your total makes perfect sense with it being so high. I do think the Aiden Hutchinson thing, though, does hurt Detroit quite a bit. And I also think, based on the drubbing they gave Dallas, that this line would have been 3.5 had it just been a mediocre win for Detroit. I think the public is kind of a prisoner of the moment here. I also opened up the piggy bank. I like Minnesota minus the 1.5 here. I bet scenarios, right? We talked about this. Lions coming off back-to-back road games. Vikings coming off a bye. Vikings playing at home. Lions having to keep traveling. Losing their best player, coming off a big emotional win. Vikings have been out of the public eye for a week and a half now. To me, it's an easy spot to take Minnesota. I'm a huge Lions fan this year, and I think they're still a Super Bowl contender, but they will split their season with the Vikings here and lose in Minnesota.
Well, book it. I'm on the other side, so a little bit of a crossfire. Yeah. No,
now, before you go into your diatribe here, are you on Detroit minus 1.5? Is that what it is? Or excuse me, plus 1.5.
I'm on Minnesota minus 1.5.
I'm on plus
1.5. Excuse me. Go ahead. Never mind, sorry.
Yeah, no, I like Detroit in this spot. I think Vikings are going to slowly and surely start to come back down to earth here. They've been the early season darlings. We've seen this story time and time again. Now, granted, Minnesota's got a couple of great coaches in Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, but there's a reason that they were picked to be one of the bottom dwellers before the year started. I think 2 weeks ago in London, New York gave away a game. They should have won that game. It was rainy weather. We saw what I think will be the beginning of Sam Darnold's downfall. I'm a little leery because Aiden Hutchinson has been all world. He has been everything. But that Lions defense is still good. But in my opinion, I think that Detroit offense is starting to just figure it out. Like, Ben Johnson's just so good, and he can figure out like they can run the ball 50 times. They can throw the ball 50 times. Sam Laporta has underwhelmed this year. But part of that is because Jameson Williams has really added a different dynamic to that offense, and Ben Johnson's just trying to figure it all out. To be fair, it all falls on Jared Goff and whether or not he can throw the ball and make that offense go. But inside the dome, Minnesota's got the best home field in all of football. But I think that this is just two different classes of teams, in my opinion. So I think that Detroit begins to flex their muscles, begins to show that they are the best team in the NFC. It's not the Niners, might be my Packers, but it's definitely not the Vikings. And I think that this week we start to see the Lions flex their muscles. Dan Campbell, he was clowning that Dallas, like what they were doing. I wanted to mention it last week. I was like, could we find a prop bet that an offensive lineman scores a touchdown in Dallas? Just because of that thing that happened 2 years ago, and I should have said it because sure enough, they were running offensive lineman screens every which way. This team is loose. They're having fun. They are a different class than the majority of the NFC right now. We'll see what happens with Hutchinson. That could be huge. But for right now, I'm going to take them as a small dog, probably find my way to get them on a couple teasers, even though the total is pretty high in this one. But I think we saw the beginning of the downfall with Minnesota when a game they should have lost against the Jets 2 weeks ago. And the Lions, 2 straight 40 burgers. I don't see any reason the train stops rolling here. I got the Lions plus 1.5, 11 to win 10.
That's news to me. I thought you just had them on a fire bet, but I didn't get that bet from you, so that's fair enough. But interesting. But are the Lions part of your fire bet, Deets, or no?
Yeah, I don't have you with the Lions either. So.
Oh, well, add them to my bet then. I thought I did. Yeah, I would like to add them to my piggy bank then.
Okay. But
I'm also glad that Deets is adding that to his bet.
Right,
yeah, I'd like to add it to that. I'll text it to you.
Fire bet too, right?
Yeah, I do have them on a fire bet as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so I put them on part of the money line bet for our fire bets too. So yeah. Sorry, I thought I texted that over.
No, you're good. I was wondering, like, where's he going with this? All right.
I have under 20 bets already anyway, so I'm feeling a little light. So I figured I should add a few to
He
the.
needs his fix, man. He needs his fix.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off there. I thought this is what's spending the day on the golf course.
Okay.
I haven't golfed in 3 months, so
we have a lot of games to get to, guys. We have a lot of games.
Seahawks.
Jesus Christ. Seahawks, Falcons, Atlanta -3, totals of 51.5. Guys, please, I beg you, I know all three of you are on this game. You have to run through these games a little bit quickly here, please.
Piggy bank. Seahawks +3, 11 to win 10.
I got over 51.5. Actually, I got a 51, but I got over 51. Atlanta does not rush the passer. Seahawks, they have 5 sacks all season. Seahawks are great when they are out pressured. So give me the total over 51.
I mean, if you're looking for analysis in this spot, my literal analysis is that on the sites that I look at for information, Atlanta's getting 78% of the spread bets. So naturally, I'm just playing contrarian here.
I just threw the Seahawks as part of my fire bet. There's, they could win this game. They're a 3-point underdog. Tough travel spot. I lean over. Both these teams could love to pass the ball. But yeah, I just have Seahawks as part of my fire bet. No real thought on this game.
Well, that's
2 top 7 offenses, 2 bottom 10 defenses. One of my favorite combinations.
Mike, what's the next game? Let's go.
All right. Okay, I'm getting bored. Eagles, Giants, Philly -3, totals at 42.5.
For me in this game, I just don't trust anything about. I don't know why I keep going back to this well, but they're literally 2-3-1 against the spread. But for some reason, the Giants just intrigue me. At home, divisional matchup, I'm catching a field goal. Do I believe the Giants are a live dog to win this game outright, which is the reason I should be taking 3? No. So I don't know what about this makes me in love with it. Again, another contrarian play, 70% of the action on the Eagles spread. I feel like the public's just going to keep betting Philly until they figure it out. And as Tom talked about Greg Sirianni being a terrible coach, his brother Nick's not very good either. So you thought we missed that, huh?
And the Eagles give up more than 14 points a game, too.
Yeah, and the 14 points.
I called him Greg Sirianni?
You called him Greg Sirianni in the show, and I was going to say, oh, well, his brother Nick's not very good either, and then we just moved on.
I was trying to think who Greg Sirianni is. I was for whatever reason, I was thinking the Rutgers coach. Whatever his name is.
No, he said Greg Sirianni earlier.
Like, who the hell is Greg Sirianni? Yeah.
Nobody. You tell us. You tell us.
I don't know. They probably, the one thing I like about the Giants this week is they have not given up more than 14 points in any game this season. So I'm on the Giants. I am on the Giants +3 because I don't want to swear. I don't want to drop F-bombs on this show, but screw Philly, screw Sirianni, screw you guys for what you did last week in Cleveland. The Giants are probably getting neighbors back. They are losing Andrew Thomas, which is a huge deal on their offensive line. Wow. But, Danny Dimes is just a freaking magician back there. He can do, magical things with his feet. So I'm banking on that. He's not very good. That's true.
I got a deep stat for you to close this game. The Giants have actually given up over 14 points in every game this season.
Well, I'm just this is a feisty Giants team. I'm on them +3 because I'm so out of. I'm principled. I'm so out of this. God darn! I want to swear so much, but I don't want to. I hate this Philly team. I hate Sirianni. Their defense sucks. They've lost the locker room. He's yelling at the fans and then thinks he can bring his kids and sit on his lap in a press conference and it'll all be okay. Like, this guy's lost his freaking mind. How is he coaching this team? And, Jalen Hurts, talk about Danny Dimes. Jalen Hurts is just not – he might not be a very good quarterback either. Like, but you take away the tush push, what is he doing, So –
The Eagles start every drive 1st and 8, right? 2-yard tush push every single time. Also, this is a revenge game for Saquon Barkley. It's a revenge game for the Eagles who got blown out by the Giants last year. And Danny Dimes is one of the 2 worst quarterbacks in the league. I'm sorry, but the guy stinks. I cannot ever be on him. He is horrible.
We don't have enough time for that. He is not one of the 2 worst quarterbacks in the league.
He's popular, though, Deets. That's why he says it. It's popular.
Will Levis is the worst, the second worst, and the third worst. before we get started.
That's fair.
And the rattlesnake rattler tonight, it might have something to say about that too.
He doesn't count as a starting
Yeah, but
quarterback.
Daniel
He's just
Jones
throwing
is
somebody in.
cool to talk about, so that's why we got to do that. All right.
Listen, in truth, Danny Dimes is terrible, but he's probably not bottom 2, but he is probably bottom 10. And I'm never putting a dollar on him.
We're betting on a terrible quarterback this week. I got him 11 to win 10. Let's go.
All right,
no bet for me, but
Aaron, I have to do. Aaron, I have to do this one though. I'm sorry.
All hail the New York Giants.
That's 20. That's 20 valuable seconds you just wasted, producer.
20 seconds. Okay. Yeah, not on the college football games. 9:30 a.m. London. Is the bridge falling down in Jacksonville or London for that matter? The Patriots travel to London where the Jaguars have been patiently waiting for this game. Jaguars favored by 5.5. Total is at 42.
You know, it's funny if the Jaguars lose this game, I think Doug Peterson's flying coach back. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and so far half of that has come to fruition. Chicago beat the pants off of them last week in London. This isn't a de facto home game. I mean, Jackson, if anybody should have betting statistical advantages in London, it's Jacksonville. I mean, they live practically, they're snowbirds there, reverse snowbirds, I guess you could say. But I don't really have a thought on this one because as much as I don't want to, I mean, Jacksonville should never be laying 5.5 points to anyone, much less, the New England Patriots. But, New England, Drake May, I feel like I want to go with the trend that no rookie quarterback has ever won in London, but Caleb Williams just debunked that last week against this very same team. So I lean the edge to just let's go Pats. Let's go Pats money line here. I have no piggy bank bet, but I'm rooting for the Pats money line, and let's see Doug Peterson find his way back to the States. Maybe they'll take his passport too.
What?
He's
not Urban Meyer.
He might as well be. I mean,
yeah, but he's not a bad guy. I mean, let him come back. Don't kick him out of the country.
Oh, don't make it easy for him. Take the passport with you on the charter plane.
I mean,
this has got to be the worst lending game ever. This is the definition of a toilet bowl. I mean, what are we doing here? How are these the teams that we send over there? This is what we want to represent us across the pond. I mean, come on, guys. We got
the Vikings and the Jets and got a clunker out of that one too. So
hey, we got to deal with bad. We have so many overseas games now. They got to deal with some bad ones too. We got to deal with enough bad ones over here.
Yeah, the British should never get anything good from us. For almost 250 years now.
They are trotting out a brand new field. Remember that? I don't know if this one's at Wembley or I don't know the names of the stadium, but there's two different London.
This is Wembley.
fields.
Yeah, this is Wembley.
And last year the field was so bad. Now they're making just for this game and trotting out a whole artificial. It's grass, but they're going to lay down a whole new surface and then pick it up and leave it after the game. So nobody knows what to expect. Everybody's saying it could be like the Brazil game where everybody's falling down every which way. I don't know how you bet on this game. Drake May looked good in his first game, as good as you can under that O-line. But he got a first-year head coach in Jared Mayo heading to London. I hate that Jacksonville sucks so bad because they should be a slam dunk Jacksonville spot. First-year head coach, rookie quarterback. Jacksonville should be an 8.5-point favorite in every teaser leg that we have this week. Instead, we got Doug Urban Meyer Peterson freaking ruining stuff over in Jacksonville there. Aaron wants to deport him. I don't know what to think of that. But, yeah, you can't bet on this Jacksonville team. They stink. Patriots, Drake May's been feisty. But, God, you can't lay 5.5 with this team. If they get Tyson Campbell –
fun bet if you can find it here. New England's first drive, no points. Probably I don't know if you can just get no points or whatever it is, but they have not scored on their first drive this season, and 4 out of the 6 games they have not even picked up a first down. So.
What a weird stat. I like it though. But I didn't know they had stats like that. That's cool.
I mean, theoretically, you're right. This should be a prime Jacksonville spot. If you're a hardcore bettor, I think you just swallow, hold your nose and you lay the 5.5.
Yeah, the people who bet there's Jacksonville money coming in. People are betting Jacksonville. And honestly, we probably should bet Jacksonville. They've been there for 2 weeks. God dang it! I might bet Jacksonville.
55. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, $11. Jacksonville -5.5.
So wait, is it -5.5 or just the money line?
No. The -5.
You're insane. All right,
Mark
cool.
it,
I'll
mark
take
it, dude.
Mark the tape
Mark
right
it,
there.
I don't roll on Shamus, but mark it, dude.
Jeez, Dolphins at Colts. Colts here by 3.
Right.
Anthony Richardson's back, baby. Totals at 43.5. Tell me why the Colts are going to win this game, boy.
How did I just get talked into a Jacksonville bet?
You're a real degenerate.
I mean, you're pulling out Big Lebowski quotes and everything, dude. I mean, come on.
I think I'm going to win that one.
You're off the rails. I like the bet. I mean, I agree with you. I don't know if I can pull the trigger. I'm not a hardcore bettor like you, but where are we at? Dolphins Colts here. Yeah. This one's a tough spot. I mean, what's the status on Flacco or versus Richardson at this point? Who's going?
Richardson starting.
Love the Dolphins. Let's effing go here at this point. I mean, for me, I don't like anything about this Colts team if Joe Flacco is not under center. At this point, I'm opening up the piggy bank for Dolphins +3, 11 to win 10. The thing's even moved to 3.5 in some spots, so that's even better. I'll probably be laying out real money, as Tom likes to say we don't do here on the show, but I'll be laying out real money on Dolphins +3.
I roll out real money. That's why I'm always so goddamn stressed out all the time.
That's probably true. Yeah.
You know what? You know what's gotten lost in all this Tua conversation over the last few weeks? The Dolphins have the #1 defense in football. People don't realize how good the Dolphin defense has been this year. And with that said, if you're giving me the turnover machine that we call Anthony Richardson, I would love to bet the Dolphins in the spot too. So you know what? I'm going to pull a deets, and I'm going to add Miami to my weekly total. Book it, Mike.
Let's go. See?
Win 2 to win 20 on the Dolphins plus the 3.
Hey, listen, you guys make fun of me, but dialogue is the key. Talk through things. Just like
crazy.
poker. We're all poker players. You talk through poker hands. You figure out what you did wrong, what you did right, and you come to a conclusion. We're talking through games. We figure it out, give our opinions, and hey, sometimes your opinions get swayed, and we bet on it. That's a sweep of the board because I also have the Dolphins +3. Let's go. What could possibly go wrong in this spot? We got
Colts
Chong, baby. Chong.
Chong, this is your spot, buddy.
Chong's at the window right now with the show on his phone.
Yeah, max bet. No, I like Dolphins coming off a bye. I think that Tua's close to coming back, but I think that Mike McDaniel will hopefully get freaking Huntley on board. Huntley's not as bad. He should not be this bad. So hoping after all those weapons, Ashan's back, Mostert should be back. Waddle, I think, is back. Good coach.
Coming off a bye.
Tons of weapons. Coming off a bye. Colts defense sucks. They have a horrible.
Oh, really? Okay, got you.
Yeah, they do suck. They're a
They're
horrible.
the 30th ranked defense, Mike. 30th.
Yeah, and Will Levis went through 95 yards on 3.5 average yesterday. Great
and
job,
they're still
guys.
the 30th ranked defense.
Yes. So I like this is a good right spot for the Dolphins to at least stay in the number there with +3. And Richardson, yeah, if it was Flacco, like what Aaron said, if it was Flacco, I'd be a little nervous because Flacco is just he's a professional quarterback, a good quarterback. Richardson, upside is there, but he hasn't shown it so far this year. So I like the Dolphins +3 with.
We have the #1 defense versus number 30 defense, and we're getting points. This is a slam dunk spot for the Dolphins.
Slam dunk.
Under 43.5 would be the better number, but that's on y'all. That's on
You're gonna sense a theme with my picks, but I'll tell you this: 68% Colts money on the spread here. So
this is gonna be a real money bet for me.
That's also dumb. I think
Aaron, this is the first week you brought that stat up, and that's one of my it is a legitimate good stat. Like when you see that type of when you see the betting percentages, like certain number of bets versus certain percentage of money, and the question is that reliable information with certain sites. But if you believe it to be reliable, it's a fantastic tool, and especially in pro football. You're going to be a winner at the end of the year if you follow those stats.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. A lot of my handicap in the last 2 years when I've actually been profitable is pretty much this. I mean, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. When we started the gambling show, I tended to try to research more and come up with my own actual handicaps. And 20 and 21, you see where it's gotten me. So
well, you want to find talking points.
We have 15 and some change minutes left, guys. So it depends on which games you want to talk about last. Let me know.
Extended show.
You wish we could.
Overtime.
Let's go. We can rattle through 5 more games here. I don't have a.
I only got one. I think I only got one.
We haven't got to the next one yet. Texans Packers. Green Bay's favored by 3. Totals at 47.5. Y'all have.
Mike, don't get your panties in a bunch, buddy. We're having fun here. Let's see. Dietz, this is you, buddy. This is right in your Lambeau lead.
What a game. How do they not flex this into Sunday Night Football? This is the 2 MVP probable candidates here besides Sam Darnold, who are playing with love and straw there. I have the over in this game, guys. I love my Packers. Our pass rush has been non-existent. Last week, 0 sacks, 1 QB hit on Kyler Murray. We just don't have the pass rush. And if you let CJ Stroud sit there in the pocket and dice you up, as good as our secondary has been, he's going to dice you up. He just is. So that being said, Houston, they have a pretty good pass rush, but I think our offensive line is going to be able to sustain that. I expect both these quarterbacks to be slinging it. I actually upgraded my bet here to $22. I'm on the over 47.5 points. These guys, these are 2 really good teams. Even without Nico, I think that Houston will be able to move the ball. I expect Green Bay to move the ball. I don't want to say possible Super Bowl matchup, but my God, this should be a fun matchup. Can't wait. I think I finally found a way to watch replays when I get home, or at least for Packer games. Can't wait to get home after work and watch this game. It's going to be a fun one. I'll just say it. Going to be a fun one. Can't wait to watch it. I got the over 47.5 for $22.
So I also have a bet on this game. And one of the fun things about doing this show is finding obscure stats that kind of skew my opinion one way or the other. Fun stat for this game. Texans are the most penalized offense in football. And I feel like going into Green Bay as the most penalized offense in football, the refs are already kind of leaning that way, home field advantage kind of stuff. I think Green Bay has a legit shot to blow this team out. I know that, it's supposed to be a close game, tight game. I like Green Bay minus the 3. I opened up the piggy bank for this one. One more thing, fun stat. Green Bay, one of the best plus minuses in turnovers. Texans are at 0 plus minus in turnovers. So they have as many turnovers as they've created turnovers. They're just not a good take the ball away team. Green Bay has all those intangible stats. I'm going to take them minus the 3.
I like Green Bay to win this game too. I don't really have no piggy bank bet, no nothing on this one. So I'll root for Dietz's Packers.
Yes.
Also, Green Bay's first in time possession. Houston is second. Just to let you know, Dietz, not to hurt your over there, but yeah. All right, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Panthers and the Commanders. Washington favored by 8. Totals at 51.5. I believe Aaron and Sammy are on this one, but you guys hash at it.
Everybody and their mother on Washington right now, and rightfully so. I mean, they're 4-1-1 against the spread, 5-1 to the over. Everything is dumping on Washington to continue rolling, but not so fast, my friend. 75% of the action here on Washington. So naturally, where are we going? We're going to Carolina. I'm opening up the piggy bank plus 8. We just talked about these numbers, that 6.5 to 8 to 9 region. These favorites just aren't covering it. So I will play that trend as well so far here. This dog's eat trend in this quadrant here. Give me the Carolina Panthers plus 8, 11 to win 10.
I love it, Lee Corso. It's a wonderful pick. With that said, the last time Washington was favored by more than a touchdown was 2017, and I think they lost that game outright. I think they're 3-12, if I remember correctly, as a 7-point favorite in their last 15 times. They just don't cover these big totals, big numbers. But you can tease them, and they do kind of qualify as a long teaser. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Washington minus the 2 just to win the game by a field goal, not necessarily cover the 8-point spread. I'm going to pair them up with Arizona as another Wong teaser leg, and try to get these Wong teasers going this year. I know they've been kind of struggling, so try our action here again.
Good morning, Dietz.
I don't hate an over in this spot either. I think both these teams will move the ball, but yeah, with a team like Commanders, I don't think you can go wrong grabbing 8 points in high variant games like the games that they play. So I don't hate either of your bets. I like them both.
Love it. Game of the week, maybe Chiefs. Oh, go ahead, Sammy, if you want.
No, I was going to say Washington's gotten to the point now where I think they're a little overvalued. I think they have to come down a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have a couple of injuries on defense too. A defense that can't afford any injuries.
4:25 p.m. Chiefs 49ers. 49ers favored by 1.5. Total is at 47.
Very quick for me. I have this one in my fire bet as part of my parlay. I have the Chiefs. No real handicap on this one. I'm Mahomes has reached the status of Tom Brady at this point. I'm either betting on him or I'm not betting this game. So I just threw a little quick flick of the wrist and put that one in the parlay for me. Kansas City wins. They just keep finding ways to do it. I don't care what you say. And San Francisco, if they lose a game at home against Kansas City, they just have to quote the great Pedro Martinez, they have to tip their hat and call the Chiefs their daddy.
I remember that quote. Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the Niners. We're a bang Niner family. So, I mean, I was sitting here watching the game, rooting for the Niners. But Mahomes, 14-1 lifetime as a dog is just crazy. But, it's strength against strength, right? Niners have number 2 offense in football. Chiefs have given up nothing to anybody all season. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can shut down, San Francisco in San Francisco. But it'll be a fun game to watch. No bet for me, but, yeah, I see your point, Aaron.
Yeah, despite that stupid magnet on my fridge behind me there, this is not a big household. Like you're Sammy, it's a split household. So I'm taking 14-1 against the spread. Mahomes is a dog. It's just an auto play for me. 11 to win 10. Chiefs plus 1.5. Niners, I've been down on them all year. They've been fighting injuries. It's a Super Bowl hangover. They're still a great team, probably going to make the playoffs in the NFC, but something's not right with them, especially red zone struggles without McCaffrey. That's a real thing. They haven't played a defense as good as the Chiefs are yet. Mahomes is a dog. Niners stepping way up in class with the defenses that they played. 14-1, Mahomes is a dog. Let's go. Chiefs plus 1.5, 11 to win 10. And
they
I will
play the Vikings. Go ahead.
I'll find some teaser legs too this week. I don't have them in the piggy bank. I haven't really thought. I've been more careful with my teasers, so I'm not trying to lay out like 8 teasers like I might have done earlier in the year with my piggy bank. But I'll be trying to find. This is classic. Try to find Chiefs plus 7.5 and some teaser legs too.
Chiefs. 49ers played the Vikings and got pretty much destroyed. In case you wonder if they played a good defense, and that was not very good for them.
Yep.
Sunday Night Football, Jets, Steelers. Jets look a little bit better. Steelers might be rolling out Russell Wilson for some unknown reason. What you got, boys, in the primetime matchup here?
God, this is a tough one. I have no play in this one. I've been the biggest Russell Wilson stan for most of his career, and I think this is a terrible move, in my opinion. That being said, I think the edge has to lean toward the Jets. All the hype, the Robert Saleh situation. And then, of course, this week we get Devontae Adams. I think everything's leaning Jets. Consensus pick right now against the spread, I'm seeing 61% in favor of the Steelers. So naturally, I would obviously contrarian. I would go the Jets in here. Everything to me just seems like the Pittsburgh's in free fall. They can't 4-2 and you're changing your quarterback. This makes no sense to me.
It really doesn't. It's an asinine move. I understand Tomlin's point. We got this guy. He was the starter coming into the season. He's supposed to be our number 1 guy, but Fields has played fine. He's played fine. I hate this move for the Steelers. But the Jets don't deserve to be favored on the road against anybody. This is a ridiculous spot. I can't make a bet either way, and I wish I could because I want to watch the game. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Steelers. I think, but it's such a terrible spot for both teams.
So much dynamics going into this game. So it sounds like there was a promise made to Russell Wilson at some point in the offseason that they would let him be the starter, and that seems to be one of the Tomlin voodoo things is that he's a man of his word. So it sounds like he might have given Russell Wilson his word that he would get the start if he was healthy. And now he's kind of forced, if he can't really let it go on any further because Justin Fields is playing good and he's winning. So I guess he's got to do it now. But what's that going to create in the locker room? Does Fields have the locker room? Does Tomlin have the locker room? It's doubtful that Russell Wilson's has the locker room. When's the last time he's had a locker room? 2015. He's been universally hated by his teammates for a decade. So I don't know. This is such a weird spot. Steelers, a home dog against a team like the Jets. This is a classic Tomlin rah-rah spot. But how do you take it? And then you got Devontae Adams and fucking Aaron Rodgers doing a photo shoot for Pat McAfee. That was weird. That was what was that? Look over my shoulder. Oh, give you the googly eyes. Devontae Adams. What the hell? You get that was just weird and awkward. And I love these guys. They brought me through the 2010s. two of my all-time favorite Packers who have obviously been through some turmoil and kind of ruined, I don't want to say ruined their reputation, but have certainly altered it in the since they've left Green Bay, and Rodgers before that. I don't know what to make of this game. I'm just from a macro like with the Jets.
A long-winded way to say nothing here.
It's just like, wow.
No bet.
No bet at all. Like, this should be a slam dunk Steelers spot. But
if you like the Steelers, get it now. If you like the Jets, wait, because I think this thing's coming back towards.
I just wanted, like, all the awkwardness surrounding, like, there's two games that should be flexed: Houston and Texas, or Houston and Green Bay, and Detroit and Minnesota. Those are must-see TV games. I'm not mad they're not being flexed.
San Francisco, Kansas City.
Oh yeah. Okay, 3. So I'm not even mad this is primetime because all the soap opera, like this is more of a soap opera than a football game, and we're kind of going to see it play out here in real life. Like, and there's so many moving parts of this that it's like Days of Our Lives. What's going to happen next? I don't know. Like, it's going to be interesting Sunday night. Get your popcorn ready. Not Taylor Swift, but like, what's going to happen with all these people? Like, who's going to be yelling?
We have
it's going to be
4
fun.
minutes to talk about our bets because we are up against the time. There is a replay coming up after this. Aaron, go through your bets, man.
Oh no, I'm gonna give Tom the floor here because he's gonna take a while.
No, we already went through them all. Go ahead.
You went through every single bet you have?
He did not.
I'm pretty sure I gotta look again.
No, you did not. You don't toss the ball bets.
What do you mean?
He did not.
You did not.
Yep.
Oh, Arkansas State and Purdue. Yeah, I thought I went through all those. I'm okay. Long story short, I got Purdue plus 28.5. Short week for Oregon. Coming off it's a big letdown spot for them. Purdue, they played Illinois tough last week. I'm just gonna take the letdown spot for Purdue. Arkansas State, I have a lot of reasons I like them. Basically, I'm fading Southern Miss. They suck. Brett Favre's alma mater. But Southern Miss has given up. They've just been getting housed by everybody. So I have Arkansas State minus a 6.5 for another one of my college bets.
And Jimmy Buffett.
Texas.
North Texas.
And Jimmy Buffett's alma mater.
And North Texas and Memphis, Deets.
Oh, yeah, North Texas and Memphis over. Thank you. Over 66.5. North Texas just is both high-tempo teams. Memphis, Seth Hennigan, we love him. He was a darling of the show in the beginning of the season. They haven't really produced, but this North Texas defense kind of is a get-right spot for any talented quarterback, and Hennigan's a very good quarterback in North Texas. They're one of the fastest-paced teams in college. So, yeah, over 66.5. Thank you, Mike.
Cool. Go ahead, Aaron. Oh, he also has New Mexico team total over 38.5.
Oh, my favorite bet of the week, yes.
All right, Aaron, go ahead.
Make this stuff up.
Oh my goodness.
And your ticker's rolling.
All right. The theme of this one is consensus fade here. I'm going contrarian. There are a few picks here I've thrown in that aren't necessarily following that as well. But let's rattle off the list here. Florida State's Friday night game, 3.5 at Duke. Auburn plus 4.5 at Missouri. Tulsa plus 2.5 at Temple. ECU plus 15.5 at Army. Rice plus 22.5 at Tulane. Charlotte plus 17 at Navy. Maryland plus 7.5 at home versus USC. Western Michigan, 1.5 point favorite on the road against Buffalo. And to close out the college, New Mexico State, Utah State, just a natural stock. This thing opened up at 80.5. It's down to 79. I'm taking the under. Hopefully that 1.5 doesn't burn me. NFL, Dolphins plus 3 at Colts. Detroit, Minnesota under 50.5. Giants plus 3 at Eagles or versus Eagles. Tennessee plus 9.5 at the Bills. Seattle plus 3 at the Falcons. Carolina plus 8 against the Commanders. A couple props here. Geno Smith over 261.5 yards at minus 110. By the way, those are all 11 to win 10. Geno Smith is the number one passer in the NFL quietly. He's averaging almost 280 yards a game, and I'm getting 261. I'm either getting fish. It's either getting fishy here, or I think this is an easy bet. Josh Allen, no interceptions on the year. It's a good time for the first one against a top-flight Titans pass defense. So I'm taking over half an interception at plus 110, 10 to 111. And then are we waiting on fire bets, or are we just firing here?
Go ahead.
Fire bet, 5-team parlay, Florida State, Nebraska, Auburn, the Dolphins, and the Chiefs, 80 to 1. Let's go.
Sammy.
So my bets, we went over every game I bet. I had 24 bets last week, down to 7 this week. Bama minus the 3, Miami minus the 4, under in the Nebraska-Indiana game, all 22 to win 20 in the college. And then for the pros, I have Vikings minus the 1.5. I have over in Seattle, which means I like your bet, Aaron, on Geno Smith. Packers minus the 3, and then the teaser with Washington and Arizona. Already all mentioned. Fire bet is Dolphins money line, Georgia money line, Arizona Cardinals money line, plus 1,300 on the 3-team parlay. Good luck this week, boys. Can you please tweet out the picks, Mike, so we can follow?
Yeah, I'm not out of town, so that'll be good. Deets on 3-team parlay, Seahawks, Lions, G-Men. Have a great day, guys. It's been the Vegas Square Gambling Show. Thanks for watching.